It was in 2009 a group of community-oriented, passionate individuals about education and leadership within the Somali community came together to officially develop Somali-Australian Friendship Association, also known as SAFA. The association has a strong record of delivering a range of leadership and graduation programs, SAFA's program being one of the largest grassroots African Australian events that takes place in Melbourne.
The association started back in 2009 with its vision being to encourage and inspire young people, to ensure that we're giving young people the resources, the skills, the leadership gaps that were missing at the time the association had been established, to ensure that they realize their full potentials. And part of that was to make sure that the number of Somali students completing secondary schools to increase, and at the same time the number of tertiary intake in terms of numbers and volume to also increase as well. So that was the background in terms of how that particular project came about, and obviously it evolved through by the years. We've added a number of other programs.
Through the continuous support of local businesses and fellow communities within Australia, SAFA has been able to bring together community leaders, young individuals, students, and the wider African and Somali community to celebrate heritage, arts, and education.
I was the president of SAFA for 4 years. I joined SAFA through Dr. Yusuf. Other people might know him as Sheikh Yusuf Konain. And he relentlessly pursued me to join SAFA and work with him. But I really was reluctant to get involved with the Somali community. I felt rejected by my community, but the fact that Dr. Yusuf kept coming and saying, you have a lot to offer, you volunteer very strongly, and you could really offer something to your community. I thought that was a great idea. I was really passionate about his approach, and I decided to work with him. I found a different type of community that embraced me through SAFA, and it was the best decision ever for me.
The vision was to empower the Somali community and help them connect with each other, and at the same time to inspire younger generation and to celebrate for their social and educational achievements, and also help them develop their social and leadership skills by participating in SAFA activities, and also share the beauty of Somali culture with a wider Australian community.
When I hear the name of SAFA, what comes to my mind is the celebration of achievement, acknowledging hard work, acknowledging our the fruits of our labor. We are a small community in comparison to the wider community. So the role that SAFA plays is really important because it highlights and even it's aware that we know we've got graduates, we've got people who've actually worked really hard and achieved something, people who are creative and done creative things. So it's actually on a point of reference where we draw that, okay, well, this is so-so is graduated. So it's where I found out how many people have graduated, universities, how many people have created jobs, how many people who are in the community that's doing community work. So it's kind of a reference place to go to. Many years ago, maybe about a couple of, maybe 10 years ago, I have my husband who's gone through and actually been given an award. I believe this year that I've got my daughter who's graduated that also in line of getting an award. So all that thing, I think it's worth celebrating, and for me, it's close to my heart, and it's fantastic work that people that are doing it need to be acknowledged.
Inspiring and empowering young people to realize their full potential is at the core of SAFA, and to work together towards achieving a harmonious Australia while providing avenues for social participation for young people through education pathways and leadership development. Over the years, SAFA's role in the community has widened from one of hosting graduation ceremonies to actively addressing issues, concerns, and the ever-changing needs of newly arrived Somali community.
It's always great to have a network, and the best way to build a network is through community and being a volunteer for a community organization, no matter what community organization it is, as well as other non-for-profit organizations. If you become a volunteer, you will have that element of connections and meeting different people who had same agenda, who had same vision, and volunteer is one thing that made me feel good. It's something, an honorable way to give back something to the community. It's good for Islamic principles, it's good for Somali culture, and it's good for Australian values to be a volunteer. And that's why I've became a volunteer. No one pushed me, no one paid me. It was my time.
It was a great honour for SAFA to have hosted our graduation ceremony in Victorian Parliament, following 2 consecutive years working alongside Zimbabwean and Eritrean communities. In addition to high school, TAFE and university graduates, SAFA has introduced the extension of the Community Awards, bringing in a number of new categories to shed light on the achievements of wider community in Australia. We are extremely proud to announce that one of the founding members of SAFA, Dr. Yusuf Sheikh Omar, has launched the first Somali-British graduation ceremony in London, based on SAFA framework. This is an indication that our program has positively impacted Somalis worldwide.
We believe that the Somali community is contributing to the wider multicultural community in Victoria, and either socially or economically. Unfortunately, not politically, but we are working on that. We'll get there.
We need more youth that can be leaders tomorrow. We want our parents to support their kids and to highlight the importance of education and also celebrate with them.
I am proud to say that I've been part of the SAFA journey. I'm proud that the community has been part of the SAFA journey. We would not achieve what we have achieved without the support of the community. We couldn't have done this program, we couldn't have achieved the milestones that we have achieved had it not been for individuals, groups, mothers, graduates themselves.
I've gone through university in this country. It's not a joke. It's quite boring. You feel like you've missed out a lot. You have doubts. You might drop out. For all these things, we need to learn how to deal with it and support our kids. Keep up the good work. I'm happy to help you any way I can. I feel like that it's their work is quite unique. It's quite unique.
I just want to thank Dr. Yusuf for bringing me into SAFA and back into my community. And I also want to send special thanks to Liban Yusuf. I met him when he arrived in Australia. Also, Mohammed Wabri. And those 2 boys, without knowing me, they jumped with both feet first. I couldn't have done those 4 years without those 2 boys. And up to Yusuf, obviously. I am so proud of all the volunteers.
We want to thank our key stakeholders, our partners, our sponsors, who have continued to support us and have been supporting us for the past 9 years. Well, if you include this year, it will be the 10th year. So we couldn't have done this without you. And as the president of the Somali Australian Friendship Association, I want to thank you wholeheartedly, the support that you have given us.
Since the inception of the program, SAFA has celebrated and recognized 500 high school students and university graduates. with over 200 members having been recognized through various community award segments and categories, making this program the only program of its kind amongst the Somali diaspora in Australia and New Zealand.
Wishing you all health and more years to come. Thank you so much.